So I like this problem right here because it involves physics, and physics is very interesting. And I don't like it just because it involves physics, because I like it because in physics we do this a lot. We rewrite formulas. We try to write formulas in order for us to get a certain value. For example, if we have the formula F equals ma, this is the classic formula. This is Newton's second law. So Newton's second law. If someone said solve for acceleration, what we would do is we would naturally divide by m on both sides, and the force over the mass is equal to the acceleration. Natural thing to do. So in physics, we actually tend to solve for certain parts of an equation, certain variables, all the time. And so this is another one of those cases when we have the Newton's law of gravitation formula here. So let's see what the problem asks us to do here. It says Newton's law of gravitation is given by the formula F equals capital G times m1 times m2 over d squared, where F is the force between the two objects of masses m1 and m2, G is a gravitational constant, it's a value, and d is the distance between the two objects. Select the formula for m1. So let's say we had object 1 over here. This is mass 1, and this is mass 2. Of course, we don't need this to solve the problem. The distance would be the distance between, actually not there, the distances would be from the center actually. So the distance from here to here, the centers to the centers, this distance would be d. Okay, so just to hopefully realize that. Okay. Anyway, you can always calculate the gravitational the force, so the force between two objects, even you and your computer or you and your phone, by using this formula right here. Anyway, let's see what we want to do. We want to solve for m1, so specifically m1. So let's rewrite this. The force is equal to capital G times m1 times m2 all over d squared. Now, first things first, I will get rid of this g. I will multiply this whole thing by 1 over g, or basically divide it by g. I like to multiply by 1 over g because it looks neater, so it's just going to be times 1 over g. This is going to cancel this and this, giving us f over g is equal to m1 times m2 by d squared. We can now multiply by d squared to both sides of the equation. This will cancel with this, and we will just have f d squared by g is m1 times m2. We can just multiply both sides of this equation by 1 over m2 because we want m1, so we can get rid of m2, push it over to the other side, m2. This will cancel here, so let me do this in red. The m2s will cancel, rather. This is going to be m1, I'm just going to push it over to the left side, is going to be, so m2 is pushed over to the left side, like this, 1 over m2, and we will write this like in this form where m1, which is what we solved for, is on the left. So this is just going to be f d squared by m sub 2g. Okay, there we go. This is our equation solved for m1. And again, we can obviously rewrite this in many different ways. We could have put the d squared first, whatever, but this is our equation solved for m1. And again, I'm telling you, this is a very useful skill that you need to know, and practicing it a lot, just writing equations and solving for certain variables in your free time or something like that, would be super useful in order for you to improve your skills on this topic. I hope you found this video helpful.